Yes, I've resorted to wearing the Uyghur jersey in a desperate attempt to change this team's luck. You ready? Here we go. It did it! I don't believe it!
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Alright, Panther fans, how we doing? Boy, oh boy, I got a busy night tonight. Streaming the Panthers game and then going to lead right into the Dolphins game. There will be some carryover sometime in the third period. The Dolphin game will start. Colin and I are going to have a blast. Don't miss it. But if you're watching this, you've already missed it. So, anyway. Speaking of missing, we're still missing Lundell and we are still missing Spencer Knight. So, Bubba, old man Bubba, who's almost as old as I am, is going to get his not just third straight start, but a back-to-back. Oh, okay. All right. Me, personally, I would have preferred we called up the 6'5", 21-year-old Gusta and just see what he could do if we had to have this situation. But since we have no confidence in anybody else, I guess we're going to throw Bob out there. I mean, he was fine yesterday, right? Okay? He didn't see a tremendous amount of action. I hope Spencer comes back soon, though, because you just can't continue to throw Bob out there, you know, night after night after night. We need to have a split here. So we're going to see a mixed bag. I don't know what the lines are going to be. I don't think Coach knows what the lines are going to be because you just never know how this team is going to respond, how they're going to start the game. It's never how they finish the game. We dominate the first 8 minutes of most of the game. Sometimes we get a goal. Sometimes we don't get a goal. Sometimes we just spend all night shooting the puck into the belly of the opponent's goalie. 4-2 Seattle. Last time I predicted we were going to lose, we won. If that continues tonight, it's going to have to become a thing. 4-2 Seattle. Stay out of the box. Please, guys. And please, just stop drawing penalties. It's worse. Just stop trying to even get the power plays. Just stay 5-on-5. And please, we need 2 points. It's 1-0 Seattle after 1. There was a sequence that happened that probably nobody even, you wouldn't have noticed it unless you were looking for it. And I'm looking for it because I've been seeing it over and over and over again. Now, Stu and I were talking about it today where we don't have the personnel to play the type of game that Maurice is trying to implement. We had the puck in our zone. We want to face off. We get it out. We've got Barkov and Reinhart entering the zone. Barkov dumps the puck in. We're going to play dump and chase. Reinhart goes behind the net. Does not win the board battle. Puck goes back the other way and led to a shot on goal for Seattle. And then I continued to watch over the next minute as we lost 5 board battles that led to possession each time for Seattle. And, you know, you don't notice those things. Those are the things that you're watching a game. You think, this game is boring, this game is boring. And in some ways it is. But we're attempting to play a method of hockey, a style of hockey that we do not have the players to play. And the flip side to that is, I don't think these guys just suddenly suck, okay? In other words, you got Barkov and Reinhart entering the zone, and instead of trying to be creative and make a play and shoot the puck at the net and see if we can get a rebound, we're just dumping it behind the net. And that only works if you win the battles behind the net, which we lose consistently over and over and over again. Let's move on to second period. Alright, so it's 2-1 Seattle after 2. Eric Stahl with his first goal in forever. He finally got one. And I believe less than 2 minutes later, Seattle comes back and gets one back. And it's an absolute shooting gallery here in the last few minutes. Well, maybe not so much the last few minutes. There was about a 4-minute period there where Bobrovsky has made multiple saves. I mean, ridiculous saves. Like, goals, it should be 4-1. And that's not even hyperbolic. And it was so bad, Maurice called a timeout and lit into everybody. And the team responded by looking exactly the same. Maybe we win, maybe we don't. I don't know. I tell you what. I'm going to be honest with you. Started the channel in 2016, and last year was the most enjoyable year for me. Not because we were so good, or not only because we were so good, but there was nothing to argue about. There was nothing to fight about. I think we all got worn out on, is it the coach? Is it Bob? Is it this? Is it that? It's everything and nothing all at the same time. Because there's nothing we can do right now to fix this mess. Unless Maurice is just going to say, all right, start playing a running gun style, which we know ain't never going to happen. And we just continue to get beat. We're supposed to be playing this grinding style, except every single puck battle, the other team beats us to the puck. Every single board battle, they're the ones that come away with the puck. I don't know what you call that. The only thing it's doing is grinding down our patience at this point. "5-2, Panthers lose." Man, I'm getting too old for this. What do I mean by that? I'm getting too old. The understandable meltdown by the fan base has begun, and I'm just going to tell you right now. Later on this week, maybe Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to have a new series of videos that I'm coming out with a couple times a week, where I go over the comments being left by people that watch the videos. And I ain't fighting with y'all. I ain't fighting with anybody. I ain't going on Twitter and fighting, and I'm fighting on Facebook. I'm not saying anybody's directing anything to me, but the point is I'm seeing it. It's like, if you blame the coach, somebody says you're an idiot. If you blame Bob, somebody says you're an idiot. If you blame Ekblad, somebody says... It's just... I'm watching the whole thing just melt down in front of my eyes. And none of you are wrong. None of you were wrong. Bob was good. Wasn't fantastic. It wasn't his fault. Maurice started yelling and screaming at the team, called a timeout in the middle of the damn third period, second period, whenever the hell it was. Second period didn't make a difference. They were completely. They ain't playing for this man. They're absolutely not playing for him. My heart says Ekblad still has to be hurt, because I refuse to believe that he is diminished as a player that rapidly. He has to still be hurt. Why is he out there on the ice if he's still hurt? He's a massive liability out there on the ice. Our captain, Barkov, okay, he was sick. He obviously lost some weight. He doesn't look anything. He's just another guy out there on the ice. There's no leadership. Tkachuk has been completely invisible for 2 games. Verhaeghe can't do it by himself. Bennett, where's the grit? Where's the fire? The third line is the one that got any of the chances. Really, Stahl gets a goal. Luosterainen played pretty decent out there. Cousins skates around in circles. We got Dalpe out there. I mean, what? I don't really know what we could expect from this team, and that's the thing. It's all wrong. The players we have don't match the style that Maurice plays. Maurice does not have the locker room. These guys are not playing for him. The goaltending has been spectacular, good, and bad, depending on which day you want to talk about. And there's no answer, not for this year. And my concern isn't even in this for this year. You know, Stu asked me this morning what would I do if I was the coach, if I suddenly became the coach or the GM or whatever it was, coach. And I said the first thing you do is you get rid of all of the dead weight and you inject as many AHL young players as you possibly can into this lineup to see what we have. Because that's the other thing. If we're going to go down this year and not make the playoffs and be bad, let's do it because we've got AHL guys that we're trying to develop to see what we got. You can't just have a throwaway year when you got Stahl and Cousins and guys like that out there on the ice. And they're not really the problem, but they're not going to be part of any long-term solution either. But I come back all the way to what I said at the beginning, which is they asked, Colby Guy asked Paul Maurice yesterday about the inconsistency, and he says, I disagree with you. I think we've been consistent. And that's pure insanity. That's not somebody who should be an NHL coach. And Bill Zito, look, I was absolutely on board with getting rid of Brunette. You could say we were right, wrong on that one. That's fine. I didn't know Paul Maurice from a hole in the wall. I heard him at the press conference. I said, okay, I like what he has to say. But at this point, Zito has to know he made a massive mistake. But because of the salary cap issue that we have, he ain't going anywhere. And I'm tired. It took a long time for this team to get good. And when the team was good, this was a lot more enjoyable. But I find myself now, if I say too much about Maurice, people are going to give me shit. If I say Bob was good, people are going to give me shit. It's tiring because it's not like I have any control, you have any control, or any of us have any real control, right? We're just throwing our opinions out there. And, I mean, people were fighting in my stream. I see people fighting on Twitter. And I'm too old for this shit. It's all a mess right now. It's all an absolute mess right now. There's a couple of guys out there playing. And one of them was Lomberg, and he obviously was probably going to look at a suspension. But there's no heart. There's no heart. And do we know if that, if the trade did that? I think it's a combination of things. We should have never hired this coach. This is not the right guy for the job. You can't take a team that was run and gun last year and turn them into whatever you call this. And I suspect that maybe Paul Maurice's vernacular style, which is pretty good. He's a good salesman of what he says he's going to do. I suspect that got Bill Zito in the crosshairs. And I'm okay with Maurice's hiring if Trotz told us emphatically no. Because then what are your other options? I don't know. I don't know this team's making the playoffs. I mean, we're going to go back and forth along the edge of that 8 seed all season long. Maurice said it himself. It's a grind. This is how it's going to be. I have no faith in the collection of guys out there on the ice right now to step up and pick it up and make it happen if we get to the last 10 games and we need to win 7 to make the playoffs. I've seen nothing from this group of guys that tell me they can get that job done. Stu and I will be back in the morning. I don't have anything else to say right now. Just once again, I find myself frustrated that well, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Kyle and I streaming both games. Panther game went the way it is. Dolphins are losing. Everybody's fighting. And I'm tired.